We're going to move quickly. Yeah, this is like The Ring. You come on this show, and if your team doesn't win, you have 7 days. Knocking on every piece of wood because that would be terrible. Okay, next guest is a longtime friend of the show and Whoopi Goldberg lookalike, handsome Tom Haberstroh.
I don't get the reference, but that's hilarious.
Oh, Tom? I think they want you to coach the Knicks.
I need to work on my facial hair right here in this spot right here, in order to match what Mike Woodson's got. Then I got the job.
Oh, I thought you meant to match what...
Yeah, talking about Eddie.
My bad.
Tom, how does it feel for the Heat to be in the finals? I mean, it feels like they've gotten past the Knicks, so it's all smooth sailing, right?
This is weird because the Indiana Pacers series, I think, on a national level, is being completely overlooked, and people are just trying to find reasons to make it interesting, and they're not really doing a great job of it. I've read so many previews of this series, and I'm still sitting here like, this is like the Comic-Con or MIT Sloan Conference of series. Like, only super basketball junkies are really excited about this Pacers Heat series. Like, the only people in the world who are really excited are geeks, like total basketball geeks.
Like, oh, Barbosa Miller, let's go.
Like, I honestly don't think that the majority of the national audience knows more than one player on the Pacers.
Well, one player they're sure going to find out about is Roy Hibbert because he is super tall and hard to miss. John Hollinger, one of the leading members of this basketball nerd clan of which you speak, wrote today that Hibbert really was a huge on-off court difference. When he was on the court, LeBron had a tougher time getting to the basket and doing whatever he wanted. When he was off the court, LeBron basically went crazy during the regular season. Do you think that's a trend that will continue in the playoffs?
You know, it's interesting because Eric Spoelstra mentioned this guy's name for the first time in weeks. Do you guys remember Rony Turioff?
Oh, French guy?
Yeah, French guy. Yeah, he's the head cheerleader for the Miami Heat. Yeah, this is why they brought him in, is for opportunities like this where they have a gargantuan center underneath, and they need to have a body to just throw at him. I think the Heat are going to be able to stretch the floor and be able to go with their versatile lineups, and that'll probably make Roy Hibbert a big liability, literally a big liability. But I don't see him as being a big problem for the Heat. I don't think it's going to be as much of a lopsided game as it was in the regular season, but Roy Hibbert is really tall, and the Heat don't have anyone who's really tall. Analysis.
Right, but we have seen them. We have seen them with their guards doubling down, swarming big guys, and Hibbert is the type of player who is not real strong in his legs, and players like even Haslam are gonna be able to, I think, push him. If you can get him 10 feet away from the basket, his efficiency and his importance really, basically halves.
Yeah, and the Heat are, like, with Shane Battier, his bread and butter move is just stripping the ball away from any post player when they have no idea it's coming. So he just comes in there. Dwayne Wade, they're going to be looking to hawk all over Roy Hibbert and make sure that he isn't comfortable. And on the block, I don't think Udonis Haslem, this is the weird thing, I don't think Udonis Haslem is nearly as strong as he was maybe a year and a half ago before all his foot injuries. He's like a shell of his former self. Underneath the basket, if you look at his blocked shot totals, he is getting blocked like every other time underneath the rim. So he doesn't have his legs anymore. He's getting these boards because he's great at positioning, and he's got a knack for the ball. But Udonis Haslem is not really the player that I think they're relying on this season.
Yeah, Tom, we've seen, like, with the Clippers-Grizzlies series, how bully ball kind of seems to win out, whether it's Reggie Evans or it's Zach Randolph and Marc Gasol last night. With the bigs for the Heat and the bigs for the Pacers, the Pacers are really into being physical and pushing guys under the boards and just being stronger than everybody. But the Heat kind of have guys that just eke out to 16, 18 feet and stretch the floor. who's that an advantage for? I mean, the rebounding's going to hurt for Miami, but defensively, can Indiana be comfortable guarding out there with their big men?
Well, I think Spoelstra said it right last night after the game. He said it's going to be a cage match. He said it's going to be a really physical underneath, and I think basically the Heat are going to have to stretch the floor and make Roy Hibbert step out, make David West step out, and guard Mike Miller, which he's not going to be able to do. If they run Mike Miller around those screens around the court when he does that Rip Hamilton, Ray Allen act, they're going to have to take David Haslam off him. I mean, I just don't see it any other way. The Heat are so good defensively underneath the rim that I don't think Roy Hibbert is as much of an advantage as people might think at 7'2" or 7'3", whatever he is. So the Heat are going to create that advantage with their wings, and they're going to have to space the floor and get David West and Roy Hibbert out of the paint.
One of the ways that they get people out of the paint is with Chris Bosh circling around for that 20-footer. He had a very up and down series against the Knicks. What's your assessment of where his game is right now, having had the couple weeks off and then kind of getting a workout against the Knicks?
Chris Bosh it's so funny because he's still not getting the looks that he needs to be the Chris Bosh that we know. He's rolling to the rim. They're not hitting him. He's kind of tentative with his shot still. And I think he's coming back from having such an emotional series, with his baby son being born. And I think what Chris Bosh needs to do is not necessarily have a Portland outburst like he did last year where he said, I need to get the ball like a big man. I think he just needs to assert himself a little bit more. I don't think he's getting the touches that he should be getting in this offense. And part of that is the reason is because Dwayne Wade and LeBron James are really good at basketball, and Tyson Chandler is a really good defender and can lock down Chris Bosh in the first series.